Let's have a discussion about insurance write-off, and accident damage cars. Should you be buying one? My definite answer would be no, because due to poor accident damage standard repairs, as that mostly applies not for the insurance approved bodywork repairs, right, or the manufacturer body shop repairs after the accident, when the vehicle is repaired by the insurance company under insurance repay for the accident damages which are repaired to manufacturer standards or manufacturer standard specification for the bodywork repair process, right? That doesn't apply to accident damage cars and insurance write-offs, that or salvage, that sort of category, which are substandard cars by nature, because the people who buy them, they are car flippers, right? Buy low, sell high. Anyone where you can find a cheap car, budget up and sell it. Once you will buy like from auctions, like something like a Copart, right? That's a salvage technically, right? All of these cars you buy there, you're gonna buy it. Then you rather buy it yourself from Copart, right? Buy this banger, get this experience, and you're never gonna buy it again, right? Instead of buying from somebody who did what you haven't done, because you don't want to buy unrepaired car and then fix it. Somebody already did it. Most of these people who does that, they don't have any faintest experience or any clue. They're just DIY people, right? Maybe some mechanics who earn something on the side, or maybe some garages like some sort of auto centers who sell cars on the side and they do some repairs, right? But there will be never a qualified person, right, to do this, right? Because the sensible people who understand that they will not even waste their time, right? Because there's no money. These cars are mostly, they all of them have latent issues on this auction where you see you just need to change the wing, let's say. You bought this car, then you see there's a conrod out, right? Or there's no oil sump, or there's water pump snapped, or there's something else, electrical damage, the car doesn't start too. And then you end up with additional serious damage repairs. I mean, mechanical, electrical repairs, right? Which substantially increases your repair cost. So that means if you decided to repair that bodywork, and the people who buy them, they have some sort of budget, right? And then they ended up with conrod out or the ECU burnout, right? Then they don't have any more money to fix it. All right, so that means they will do something to that repair what they've been planning to do, at least some sort of sensible repair. But then they've found the most cheapest guy who can somehow do the bodywork, right? Then they found the most cheapest person who can spray it somewhere outside under the wet tree, right? And that's how the paintwork will look, right? And then, because they need to balance, let's say, the conrod repair or the engine ECU short circuit, right? Because they didn't plan there will be additional stuff. But most of these cars, right, they are written off and they are on a similar auction like a Copart. Doesn't matter where you're getting it from, and any salvage resellers, right, where they're selling salvage cars, like Cat N or Cat S, because Cat B you can only sell it for parts, right? So and Cat A you can't sell for parts too, because there's too much of the damage. So most of these people never planned that there would be additional surprises, but there always are, right? Typical overheatings, like I said, loss of oil, it's been driven without oil, or while it's been an accident, it's been running and then engine seized, right? And once you will put on oil, it will start misfiring, you end up with new engine. So this is the classic scenarios with the salvage buys, right? And rarely things go smooth. And like I said, once these people buy them, they're not professionals. They are just random people who doesn't have any experience. They think they're gonna earn easy money. But like I said, once you start repairing these cars, put in, there will be never new parts, right? There always will be second-hand parts sourced to fit it, right? Because if I would be I would not gonna buy new parts, buy second-hand one, because it doesn't make sense to buy new parts, because you will not earn any money. And the type of people who buy these cars, who get emotionally dragged into this fake fairy tale illusion, they will search for these cars, because they will think, oh, this car is, let's say, 3-year-old, and this is so cheap, I'm gonna buy this car. Or that car is like a 10-year-old and it's so cheap, I'm gonna buy this car. But then once you look professionally, with professional eye, there's no value in it, because shite respray, shite panel gaps, all the headlight support brackets broken, headlights misting, behind the, let's say, quarter panel or behind the bumper, if it's some sort of structural, right, unrepaired, damaged, panels not replaced, is somehow being bent to make it gaps somehow sensible, right? But paint with fish eyes, visible respray, clearly visible respray, holograms, filler prep marks, loads of scratches, dings, dents, and everything else which comes with these cars, right? And once you look at it, there's no value in it. So this is why I'm saying, just don't buy accident damaged cars, right? If it will be in category N, if it's not flat damage, it will normally go as a Cat B, right? Unless it's something unrecorded and it's sold from Salvage as an auction, right? So what did I want to say for that example? I lost my point. So I completely went off track. So yes, basically, so these cars, right? Cat A can't even sell for parts, right? Buying from Salvage, right? There always will be surprises, right? And unqualified people repair these cars, and if you are the person who looks for these type of bargain, just please don't be delusional, right? From my experience and the amount of accident damaged cars I have checked, sometimes unrecorded as a worse situation as well, where you have to be careful, because doing a car history check is just a record from insurance companies, from police, from DVLA, from finance companies. Regards to mileage records, again, if that mileage is recorded, doesn't mean the car will be not clocked. How the clocked cars gets counted, if it went for the MOT and the mileage was lower or higher, right, and then suddenly lower, or in the first 3 years there's not much of mileage traces, unless it goes into in some sort of accident damage, then it's been registered. the mileage gets logged somewhere, right? Uh, at some stage somewhere, or somebody suspects and it reports through there is some sort of organization which is just basically random bullshit, right? That car history check doesn't say physically the car haven't been clocked. It just says no one has registered a mileage discrepancy example. That's what it means. So same with the insurance write-offs, right? That information gets shared at that particular time. So when you do the check, there is like at least for the insurance write-off declaration could be a month's delay. You know, so that means at one point there's nothing, and then suddenly you do after a week or two the car history check and there's a insurance write-off registered. So same as with cars stolen and non-stolen, same as the finance, there is a natural, like probably 7-day delay. You know, once somebody takes the finance, you might even cancel it, so they will not register there is a finance on it straight away. You see what I'm saying? So the car history check should be taken as a pinch of salt too. And you can't really do one, you know, especially if you are a buyer, you know, or especially if you're a seller. I mean, especially if you're a seller, because you're buying, keeping, and then selling, you need to do at least 3 car history checks when you're buying in a bulk, because you don't know what's gonna end up. You don't know whether that car had an accident or not, or whether that car, how clean it will come, because you got no idea. Because somebody can add something, or it's in the process be added, and there is that time delay, you know, and then you do after a week, or after a day, suddenly there's something on it. You know, that is car history check. So that means anything what you see there doesn't mean it will not appear, because you might buy a car and somebody registers as stolen, and then after 2 or 3 days, police knocks on the door, and then again after 2 days there is a log registered the vehicle is stolen. So same as you're buying a car, it doesn't mean car comes clean, right? And it doesn't mean the car never been in an accident, because every accidents which are covered by the insurance and repaired to manufacturer standards, sort of, right? They will never appear. It doesn't say never been an accident. It just says the insurance company haven't written it off. You know, so that means if the insurance company does repair it, it will not show up as an accident damaged car. You know, and to people, a lot of people take that it's a misconception, right? So therefore, most of the people assume it's never been an accident. No, it's false. It could have an accident. It could have lease resprays, seller improvements. You might just damage the bumper removed, respray. Somebody crashed in a car from the back, and it was just a bumper respray. There will be new bumper respray, but that's fine. Those are minor things, right? Same applies to the bodywork, rest of the panels, damages, some sort of vandalism. You driven into bush, or you driven into a tree, or you reversed into somewhere, or somebody reversed into you. You know, so they will be, let's say, doors replaced and resprayed. These are typical things. Somebody driven into the front, headlight broken, wing damage, bumper. So those will be replaced. But that will not show up on a car history. On a car history check, will only show up when the insurance will decide to write the vehicle off. Period. That applies to the police stolen records, salvage records, mileage records, finance records, you know, anything what you see in a car history check. Some of the car history check information is complete additional random, where that information doesn't come from DVLA, but there is a different source where how by the VRM you recognize the vehicle information, and rest of the sort of data which comes from like some additional associations where they release information, sell the information. Sometimes there can be mistakes. It's automatic, but it's actually manual, or it's a manual and it's automatic. There could be mistakes of the that additional data log about the vehicle. I mean, sort of the specs and specifications, dimensions, engine size, there can be a mistake, but that part comes from different sections, right? So again, can be taken with a pinch of salt, you know. It's just for information mostly. Your main thing is the logbook, the VIN number, engine number, and any additional things so you can identify that vehicle. Rest is just like fuel consumption. That can be wrong, you know. Anything else you see, it can be wrong because it's just the data comes from random places, right? That data doesn't come from DVLA. DVLA only, if you look on a logbook, DVLA doesn't even define that vehicle. Is it a manual or automatic? It's stupid. It's not in a logbook. You know, it should be. So how the system is classified actually in UK is a bit stupid, right? Where that information should be there. So there is a specific manufacturer. So let's say for the UK, those log numbers. I forgot how it's called. It's not a log number, but there is a number where when you register this vehicle, once the, let's say, DVLA gets this number from manufacturer, it will automatically populate the vehicle details, right? It will recognize it because it's built for the UK market. And that's how the sort of registration happens. All the information comes from manufacturer, right? And DVLA only registers based on that sort of specific number, you know, which is shared with DVLA from the manufacturer for this country, right? So that would be, that's why when you register a Japanese car, if you don't have that UK number, that's why you see on the logbook, there is not even engine number, there's only VIN number, there's only make, there's no model, you know, because there is a restriction from registration from Japan. So you don't have, if you don't have this number, it would not register properly. So because of the country cross-border sales, if everyone will start importing cars and registering those cars from different countries, that's economy, right? Capitalism. They're not allowing, they're restricting sales by markets, by manufacturers. So they don't want you to import Japanese car, registering that car as full of the details. It's just a DVLA. Even you providing the information, they still don't do it. There are some models that do it, but for most of them, they're deliberately leaving something out. Even you providing them all the information, but that's separate to the insurance write-offs, right? I mean, that's separate. Yeah, that's separate from the insurance write-offs. That's just an import thing. What I just somehow randomly raised. But that is a scrupulous information, what I'm saying. So regards to the insurance write-offs, if you're buying one, just don't buy it. You know, there's no bargain. It's not a Primark. Salvage market, accident damage market, insurance write-off market. It's not a Primark where you go buy cheap and live your life, right? It's a second-hand damage market, substandard cars. This is what you need to understand. You know, from my experience, I only seen one car which been repaired to the good standard. They still need to treat the welding marks, right? Or not fairly new car, which has been done to the standard I would expect it to be repaired, right? To the respray quality where you can't tell it's being resprayed, and the right front replaced as it's supposed to be, right? Where ordinary person would never tell. That was just one, and it's been repaired to at insurance approved body shop, but because they randomly knew that car and randomly had the opportunity to buy it off directly, so they knew what they're buying, right? And it had all the invoices, everything was being sort of replaced. But that's just a one example, you know. Other than that, everything is just bodged up. Remember, there's people who are buying them, they have no qualifications to fix them. They don't understand it. It's just a DIY somehow fitted parts on a car with gaps and poor quality resprays and everything else, with the broken headlight parts, brackets glued, so for that just stay there somehow, so that is what you're gonna get, and there's no value. If you want to do this, go to any of the salvage auctions and buy this junk for yourself, fix it to your standard, and drive it if you want to take the gamble with potential additional engine issues or gearbox issues buying these type of cars. Because there's always something, it's never straightforward.